Black, Poetic G. Beautiful love, always.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm King George. I'm the owner of T.Y.I Productions. I am the curator of Black 31 magazine. Today we are here on the line with another special brother from the community. This brother right here is the owner of Bailey Multimedia Group. This brother right here is a book author of several different books. This brother is a podcast host, and also this brother is deep rooted within the streets, and he has a story. So most importantly, can we please give it up for the brother Fruitquan Bailey? Let's go.
Thank you, brother. Greatly appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Greatly appreciate it. Yo, Cheese, what's poppin'? I see you in the building. How you doing, brother? How you doing, King George?
How you feeling, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm highly blessed and favored.
Yes, I love it. So first and foremost, right? I just want to know, and the people want to know, most importantly, who is Fruitquan Bailey?
Who is Fruitquan Bailey? Fruitquan Bailey, I'm a native New Yorker. Brooklyn, New York at that. Brooklyn stand up. I was conceived in Brownsville. I was raised in Bed-Stuy. I'm the first child, the first living child. I'm the first living child of my mother and father, who were both deeply rooted in the streets of Brownsville, New York. Rest in peace to Fruitquan. Shout out to my old dad, Fruitquan. They were heavy in the streets of Brownsville. They had a reputation. And me being my father's first child and being named after my father, you could pretty much say I came up in the streets as well. I ended up in Bed-Stuy with my grandmoms, and I grew up like every other kid, being bad in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, experiencing all that the 80s had to offer, because I don't believe there would ever be an era better than the 80s. I was a kid in the 80s, and I absorbed all that, and I think the 80s was what led me to my first pair of handcuffs. So I did a juvenile bid in 87 at the age of 13 years old. I pretty much was in and out of the juvenile system my first few years of puberty, from the age of 13 to 16. Within them 3 years, I might have did 3 juvenile bids.
Yes.
All for petty robberies and things of that nature. By the time I became a teenager in the streets of New York, 16, 17, nothing changed. I was still ripping, running the streets, doing what I do. I'm out of Lafayette Gardens, Brooklyn, New York. LG, salute, stand up, free world, rest in peace, Wise, rest in peace, Big Nut. Ripping and running the streets at a teenage age, ended me up on Rackett's Island for the first time.
Yeah.
And Rackett's Island, I served a city bid 8 months out of a year. I came home from that, and I entertained the relationship. It's funny I'm saying this because right now Pat Poop's like a type. I entertained the relationship with a person who I liked a certain type, and that shit went south quick and ended up costing me a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. You know what I'm saying? It led to a lot of nonsense. But if you read World and Wise, the CMB story, you'll get to absorb all that. You know what I'm saying? We might have to double back for another interview where you read the book and you get to question me on some of those things. But I ended up accidentally taking the life of a friend. There was a lot of drama behind my incident and my crime.
Yeah.
A lot, but you would have to read the book to get the details. And if any of your viewers read the book, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tut. I see Tut in the building. Shout out OG. Tut is tapped in. Yeah, like I said, if you read the book, you'll get more in depth on what went down with my crime. But I ended up spending 23 years in prison. I went in at the age of 17 and came home when I was 40. I came home in 2014. And since then, I've been trying to find my way. You know, came home, had to get employed. You know how that go. Because I left when I was 17, so I ain't never had a job. So I had to come home, get employed. I also had to come home and find my hustle and find my grind. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe one paycheck is going to do it. And my hustle and my grind led me to open into my first venture as an entrepreneur, which was T.Y.I's Boutique, which was an online clothing boutique catered to females and children. After online, I eventually opened a physical location for T.Y.I's Boutique. I ended up closing that and moving on to something which was much bigger than T.Y.I's Boutique. I opened up, I ventured off and I invested in what is now After 9 Sports Bar and Lounge in Charlotte, North Carolina. Once again, After 9 Sports Bar and Lounge in Charlotte, North Carolina on the east side. I'm an entrepreneur. The business has been open now 5 or 6 months. It's doing pretty well. Started my own podcast on the strength that I did some great interviews with St. Laz. Shout out to St. Laz.
Yeah.
I did some great interviews with St. Laz a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that led to me creating my own podcast that I let my boy Mano talk me into doing, which I've done. And you know, it's been the up and down ride with the podcast, you know, trying to get my subscribers right, trying to get my views right. But like I said, I don't believe in one paycheck pay the bills, so I got various hustles. I do not depend on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? YouTube is a form of entertainment, and the Real Big Fruit podcast is very entertaining, so make sure y'all tap into that.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, within the past 4 months, I've penned 2, not 1, but 2 amazing non-fiction, true story, tell-all urban novels. The first one is World and Wise, the C&B story. Y'all got that? That's the hood story. Y'all got to have that in your collection. If you talk hood politics, you read hood magazines, you into urban culture, and you want to know what's going on in the streets of Brooklyn, New York, Lafayette Gardens to be exact, you must have a copy of World and Wise, the C&B story based on true events. And the second book that I penned, which is my heart, rest in peace to all my crimies. I wrote this for the homies. It's called The Boys of C-74, Reconciling Legends. Both books are available on Amazon.com as well as Barnes & Noble's bookstores. There you have it. Now, let's get into shaking bed, bro.
Oh, that's heavy. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. So I heard a lot, and all of that you were saying, I heard so much. So I'm ready to dive right into it. First and foremost, right? What was it like being arrested as a minor, and what was everything that was going through your head and bottling through your head at that moment?
Okay. When I got arrested as a juvenile at the age of 13, I had already had a couple of hiccups with the law. You know, I've been arrested a few times. Grandmother had to come to preach and pick me up. So, you know, I ain't gonna say I was kind of used to it. I wasn't so shocked or surprised when it happened. It happened on Halloween 1987, which was a day I'm quite sure a whole lot of people got arrested in Brooklyn, New York. As far as what it was like for me, I don't care what nobody say. I was a little badass kid. I don't care how tough I was. But when they got my ass to that precinct that time and told me I wasn't going home, and they put me in the back of that car to take me to Spofford in the Bronx, I cried like a baby. I didn't know what to expect. I was very, very, very scared. Very scared. But when I got to the facility, I ran into some homies that put me under the wing and made my transition what it was supposed to be, and I was able to be fruit in that situation. But it was very scary for a 13-year-old kid on a late night, handcuffed in the back of a police car, traveling from Brooklyn to the Bronx late at night, not knowing what you was going to encounter. It was very scary. I will tell you that.
Yes, and I could see how that could be troubling for a young youth, right? Now, honestly, how do you feel about the youth now? You know, all the youth now, right? I feel like the youth in this time now is running towards death. How do you feel about that?
Ooh, I definitely agree with that, but I believe they're doing more than just running towards death. But everything they're doing is going to eventually lead to death. So you pretty much nailed it. How do I feel about it? I think it's very scary. Like I'm using that word a lot this evening. I think it's very scary because I look at the youth today and it's like they have no sense of direction. They have no respect for themselves or others. And what bothers me most, they don't respect their OGs. You understand what I'm saying? They don't respect their OGs. And we are living in a time where the OGs are very, very important and very, very valuable to today's community. Because when I was growing up in the 80s, like I said, I'm an 80s boy. When I was growing up in the 80s, a lot of a lot of a lot of the people who was considered the role models, which were the hood dudes, they were in and out of jail with the 1 to 3s, the 2 to 4s, and things like that. And they would come home and they would preach to the shorties about how you had to be tough going through the judicial system, reconciling up north, etc. That's what we had coming home from prison, schooling us as the youth. So it wasn't surprising that when the 90s came and the crack era came, we all ended up doing just what those dudes came home from prison and told us to do.
Yeah.
In today's time, all of us that followed those OGs and ended up going to prison in the 90s with the crack era and the high murder rate, we ended up going to prison at young ages, 16 and 17. And the judicial system gave us 25, 35, 50 years.
Wow.
And, God is good. A lot of us buckled down and did those numbers. And, we,
Yeah.
and we're home now.
Yeah.
We're home now. And now we're the OGs. And our story is different for the shorties. We not telling the youth, do this, go to Ragged Island, be tough, go upstate, hold it down. It's different. We not coming home from 1 to 3s. We not coming home from 2 to 4s. Brothers is actually coming home from doing 25, 30, and 40 years of prison. Dudes did it. He left at 16. He did 30. He's 46 years old. He's still in his prime. Now these guys are coming home from prison and we're trying to reach the youth. And I think the youth need to be more acceptable to the OGs and stop disrespecting them. I think that's one of the main reasons the youth in the street is running towards death, because they're not respecting the OGs, and the OGs don't want to see y'all die, young man. Let me tell you something, right? You use the term OG loosely, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell y'all young boys something. Ain't no reward for being a young nigga, man.
Yeah.
You gotta live to be an old nigga. That's where the reward is. You gotta live to be a young nigga. And everybody be talking, yo, you niggas on too old for that shit. Oh, listen. The worst thing about getting old is not getting old. Don't let that run over your head, young man. Y'all got to get it right out there, bro. And a lot of us is coming home from prison. You know what I'm saying? They did us dirty. We served a lot of time. They letting us out. We the crack dudes, the early 90 dudes. They letting us out. And then you got dudes with the wrongful convictions. They letting us out. Shout out to family and friends of the wrongfully convicted. Shout out to Derek Hamilton and Rennie Smith. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to France. Happy belated birthday, France. You know what I'm saying? So we coming home and y'all running to the cells. Y'all filling the cells up. We trying to get out and y'all trying to get in, man. Y'all got to smarten up.
Yeah.
Y'all really do got to smarten up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. I gotta ask this question.
Yes,
What is the atmosphere like on Rikers Island?
oh. I don't know about today because so much has changed.
Yes.
It's 2024, about to be 2025.
Yeah.
When you talking Ragged Allen, you asking me about Ragged Allen, I'm giving you early 90s action.
Okay.
Early 1990s. My first trip to Ragged Allen was in 1990, in the 90, then I came back in 91. I did the 6 bill and did in 91. Then I came back in 92 and I did the stretch. So I'm going to talk about my first real encounter in Ragged Allen in 1991, man. I'm going to have to be honest with you. I was definitely scared. You understand what I'm saying? I was definitely scared.
Yeah.
But I had a brother and a comrade already on Ragged Allen. So although I was a little nervous, I knew he was there. And once we clicked, I would be good. But running into him and seeing him with a laceration on his face, a cut on his face, I think that shook me out of the scary shit, and I was on go time because I wanted revenge for what happened to him.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere then, when I came to Ragged Allen, it was early 90s. Everybody there, the youth that's there, 16, 17, 18 years old. The majority of us is there for violent crimes, everything from robbery to gun possession to assault and even murder.
Mm.
The majority of us, at least 85 to 90% of us,
Yeah.
Like I said, we were young and in the streets. Ain't too many of us had no paid lawyers. Ain't too many of us had no bails. You know what I'm saying? So it was a very toxic atmosphere. Very, 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 very toxic atmosphere. And then on top of that, guys were borough banging, section banging, Brooklyn against the Bronx and Harlem against Queens. A lot of that was going on.
Yeah.
And you really had to hold it down because it wasn't no gangs. There weren't no gangs. There weren't no cliques. There weren't no crews. You had to be an individual and hold it down. And if you couldn't do that, you was lunch meat. Straight up, you was lunch meat. They was coming for your sneakers. They was coming for your commissary. You wasn't using the phone. Like it was very, very toxic, bro. It was traumatizing. It was very traumatizing. Very, and you had to either be a sheep or a wolf because it was that traumatizing, bro. You had to eat or be eaten type shit. You know what I mean? So it was very, very, very. And then on top of that, you had the officers, the correction officers, and they played into that shit so bad, man. They would put us in positions where they would know we had problems with each other, put us in positions where we could go at each other, give us weapons so we could hurt each other. Like, it was just a mess, man. At that time, Ragged Allen was considered the worst. Don't take this lightly, neither. It was considered the worst jail in the United States of America because Ragged Allen is not a prison. It's a county jail. So it was considered the worst jail in the United States of America when we were there.
Wow. Wow. And it's so crazy that you're going back to 91. I was born in 91.
Wow.
And you know what's so crazy, man, when I think about the early 90s, when I think of the early 90s and I think of when you mentioned Rikers Island, for some reason I think of Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac came to Ragged Allen in 1994. I was already upstate. But I'll tell you about Tupac. Tupac ended up coming to the prison that I was in. He came to Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York in 1994, February 94 to be exact. He walked right past my cell to go into his cell. So me and Tupac was on the same gallery for about 20 minutes before the officers moved him out of a general population cell to involuntary protective custody because he wasn't trying to sign in, so they had to force him in there. So it was involuntary protective custody for the majority of his stay in Clinton. But he was in the same prison as I, not Ragged Allen.
Okay. And during that time, did you think Pac wanted to stay in population or?
Absolutely. I was what, 6 cells away from him. We didn't know he was him. He walked past our cells, and you could hear somebody say, "Yo, that motherfucker look like Tupac." And when he went in the cell, the officers immediately opened the cell again to have him walk back down the gallery so they could speak to him. So when he came back out the cell and walked back towards the officers, Now motherfuckers get to look at his face and they're like, yo, that really is Tupac. And I was surprised. I didn't know he was so small. He was a very small dude. Yeah, I didn't know he was so small.
Okay.
But he came out the cell. He went up there to talk to the officers. And let me tell you how foul these motherfuckers were. They was taking Polaroid pictures of him with them and having him sign them. So when he went back to his cell, the white shirts came, the higher authorities came and told him he couldn't stay in general population. He wanted to stay. He felt he was comfortable in general population with his people, which was black people. He wanted to remain in general population. He didn't want to go to a secluded area with white folks. You understand what I'm saying? With the officers. He was like, nah, I'm good. I want to stay here with my people. I don't got to go to protective custody. So he very much wanted to be in general population. That is a fact.
Yes. Yes. When it comes to diving into being an author of your own books, right? Why did you decide to sit down and write these books?
Okay. Here we go. In all honesty, during my 23-year incarceration, I went in young. I went in at 17. And in the early 90s, when I got upstate in the prisons, I was around a lot of the OGs. And at that time, the OGs had been away 10 and 15 years already. So, me being around them, they used to have me tell them war stories from the 90s because they was going since the 80s. And I used to tell my stories, and they used to really be into them. And sometimes you would hear, yo, you should write a book. Yo, you should write a book. I even tried it in prison. Ain't have the time for it. It was too boring. So I've always had a knack for orating. And unbeknownst to me, while I was going through what I was going in New York State prison, telling stories, contemplating whether or not I would ever write a book, my dad, shout out to Big Fruitquan, Brownsville's finest, my dad was doing a federal bid. And unbeknownst to me, he was writing books. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So I have to honestly say, because I asked him how did he get into it, and he said he was telling stories to a cellmate, and his cellmate told him, yo, you need to write a book. So we pretty much was in the same boat. So I say all that to say my father passed me his orating skills and his writing skills. And like I said, in 2021, 22, I linked up with St. Laz. Shout out to St. Laz. We did some storytelling, the LG story on St. Laz, and it was very, very, very successful. And Laz himself, as well as a lot of his subscribers, they took a liking to my storytelling. So I just started telling stories on my YouTube channel, and I said, you know what? I'm going to write. I'm going to write. And I just started writing. Plus, I had a lot of drama back home. You know what I'm saying? When you read the LG story, you're going to get into all that. I had a lot of drama back home. A lot of people trying to get fame off the name. A lot of people trying to change the narrative about Fruit and CMB. A lot of people trying to discredit me or slander me. So I had to do the writing because I had to put it all out there. So now it's in print. It's in black and white. It's out there for the masses. So that's another thing that pushed me to writing.
Absolutely. And tell me this: what is the greatest thing about Brooklyn?
Wow, there's so many things that are great about Brooklyn. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that's great about Brooklyn. Brooklyn love, kid. Like Biggie said, spread love. It's the Brooklyn way.
Yeah. That's heavy. I gotta ask this, just knowing that you from the Mecca, right? The place where hip hop all started, right?
Right. Here we go.
who are some of your favorite rap artists of all time?
All time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you my top 3 or 5 solo male artists of all time.
Who?
Biggie, Jay-Z,
Okay.
Nas,
That's heavy.
Rakim,
Mm.
and I'm gonna have to give that 5th spot to this man for his body of work and his legendary consistency. I'm gonna have to give it to LL Cool J.
Okay, that's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Spot. Now, when you
That's
ask for,
heavy.
if you ask for female all time, Little Kim,
Okay.
Foxy, Little
Okay.
Kim, Foxy, Lauryn Hill.
Mm.
That's top 3 right there. At forever.
Yeah.
Little Kim, Foxy, Lauryn Hill, MC Light, and Nicki Minaj.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah. As for my groups of all time, my #1 group of all time is the Fat Boys.
Oh.
The Fat Boys. The Fat Boys, this man, Fat Boys wasn't in the sneeze at the 80s. The Fat Boys ruled the Billboard charts with Michael Jackson. If you do your history, go back to the Billboard books of the 80s. The Fat Boys was #2 on the Billboard behind Michael Jackson, my man. So my favorite group of all times is the Fat Boys. Then from the Fat Boys, I would have to say the Locks. After the Locks, I'm going to go with Run DMC, The Woo, and
Mm.
Houdini. And Houdini.
Oh, that's heavy. That's heavy.
That's
That's
all time.
heavy.
Those are my all-time favorite artists.
Mm.
Like
Mm. That's heavy. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I like that. I like that. And considering that you told us your top 5 in all these different categories, I'm gonna jump into the fun side of questions and just asking you which artists do you love? Which artists would you prefer? Um, and there's gonna be some tough ones, but we're gonna start off tough. We're gonna start off tough from the jump.
all
Um, uh,
right.
James Brown or Michael Jackson?
Michael.
Okay, 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 okay. Um, Prince or Rick James?
Hmm. Prince was a bad man. But my swag is Rick James.
I hear that. I hear that. Um, uh, Wu Tang or Mobb Deep?
Hmm. MOBB.
Okay,
The mob.
okay,
I'm gonna take the mob. I'm gonna take the mob.
okay, okay. No great answer
I'm gonna
right
take
there.
the
They
mob.
both
I'm gonna
they
tell you why I'm gonna take the mob. I'm gonna tell you why.
okay.
I'm gonna take the mob solely on one reason. Havoc produced the #1 all-time hip-hop beat of all times. Shook Ones. So they get the
Shook one.
stamp. Over they gonna get the stamp. Shook Ones is the #1 hip-hop beat of all times.
Yo, Shook Ones is heavy. That's heavy. Um, uh, uh, Tupac or DMX?
Tupac.
And I like both of them. I like both of them guys.
Me
They
too, but
both
I
heavy.
can't have both. I can't have
Exactly.
both.
Exactly.
Tupac.
Exactly.
Tupac.
Um,
Rest in peace to X. Rest in peace to Tupac.
absolutely. Rest in peace to both of them guys. Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace. Um, Eve or Remy Ma?
Eve or Remy. Yo, Remy a crash dummy. She a bozo, but I'll take Remy right now. Remy can rap. Remy got bars. Shout out to Papoose.
Over Eve?
Absolutely.
I hear that.
Eve ain't
I get it.
You a Philly boy.
I get it.
I get it. You a
You right.
Philly boy. I get it.
I could be biased because I'm a Philly boy.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
Absolutely. Oh, I got one. I got a good one. NWA. NWA or Tribe Called Quest.
NWA.
I like that. Great pick. Big Daddy Kane or Rakim.
Ooh. Listen. Kane's my guy. I used to go to the store for Big Daddy Kane and DJ Mr. C. Rest in peace, Mr. C. Like, I grew up watching those guys perfect that craft that they called hip hop. I grew up watching them perfect that before the record deals.
Yes.
So Kane is definitely one of my favorite. He didn't, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the guard Rakim, man, there's nothing like him. There's nothing like him. Every rapper wanted to rap. Every rapper after Rakim who tried to perfect their craft on lyricism, they did that because of Rakim. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Rakim, the God, Rakim.
That's heavy. Rakim is in my top 5. One of my top 5 favorite MCs of all time.
Absolutely, he's number 1. He's number 2 after Biggie, Jay-Z, and all that. Yeah, Rakim, the God.
Yeah, that's my guy. He heavy with it. That's my number 3. He number 3 on my list. He right after because I got my list it's a little similar, but it's a little different. My list I got Tupac 1, I got Nas number 2, I got Ice no, I'm sorry, I got Rakim number 3, I got Ice Cube number 4.
Cube.
And then 5 is always up in the air for me. Is always either Big Daddy Kane or either Black Thought or either.
Black Thought.
Yeah, there's always somebody like that, man. It's up in the air for me. That 5 is just so hard to pick.
Yeah, that 5 is so hard. That should have changed on you every day. And I got one rapper. I don't put him in a category. He's not on no list. I got him in a category by himself because I believe there is no one like him. Shout out to Cool G Rap.
Cool G is the man.
Shout out to Cool G Rap. He's in the category. He started that New York City gangster shit on hip hop tracks.
Hell yeah.
He started that shit. Cool G Rap. Yeah. He's the man. He's the fucking dude when it comes to that shit. Shout out to Cool G Rap.
Cool G Rap is heavy. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of these guys, man, I love the essence. That's why I love hip hop so much. My pop put me on to a lot of these guys, man. Cool G, NWA.
Yo, when you said Ice Cube, I'm sitting here going, he was born in 91. How the hell does he know about Ice Cube as a solo artist?
Bro,
Ice Cube stopped being a rapper when you was born.
Exactly, bro, you exactly right. So what I have done, right? My pop put me on to so much music, and I'm an artist myself that I actually went back and I would literally sit back and say, I'm gonna throw the whole album on and listen to the whole album straight through.
That's how you do that.
Straight through.
Get a good ear. Cube was definitely during his time. He was one of the best rappers. He was one of the hardest, and he was one of the best ghostwriters. When Cube took rapping as a career for the movies and everything else, He was one
Absolutely.
of the best doing it. He was one of the best doing it as a teenage kid, man. His pen game was crazy. And the things he
Absolutely.
was witnessing in Compton, you know what I'm saying, California, he was able to witness those things and put them pen to paper and paint that picture. Because us back home in New York City, we didn't know what California was like until NWA and Ice Cube. We didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ice
Yeah.
Cube painted that picture for us and invited New York City into their world. That was Ice Cube and NWA. So mad props to Ice Cube. Ice Cube is definitely one of the hardest rappers ever. And when it came to those diss tracks and beefing, he held it down. You know what I'm saying? No Vaseline is considered one of the best all-time diss tracks ever. So shout out to Ice Cube.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so crazy you say that because literally me and my wife was going at it about what's the best diss track of all time, and our top three tracks we had in there. We had Ice Cube, No Vaseline. We had Nas, Ether, and then we had Hit 'Em Up, Tupac.
Oh, yeah, that's top three
And,
right there.
and we,
That's a that's a
now,
that's a big three.
and I'm sitting back. I'm sitting back. I'm like, Q might, he might. I'm sitting back. I'm like, yo, when you think about, you don't go wrong with neither one, which either one can be number one. But I'm sitting back. I'm like, damn, Q, he really might have the greatest diss track of all time.
He may have he may have man.
And that's crazy. That's
He may
crazy.
yeah,
So,
he may have.
um,
But yeah.
yeah. So, oh yeah. Two more.
Okay, I'm ready for you.
So, um, Ghostface Killer or Jadakiss.
Yes.
I hear that. I hear that. Listen. I love both them dudes. And Kiss, honestly, Kiss was my first favorite rapper ever. 10 years old, Kiss was my first favorite rapper. I remember going to the little league football games, watching my cousin play. I had the boom box. I'm playing the Jadakiss joint. Well, the first album, Kiss the Game Goodbye. Man, put your hands up. Nah, put your hands
Now when
down.
it
Come
comes to
on.
Kiss, I made it my business to pay attention to Kiss and follow
Yeah.
Kiss and Kiss is what he's supposed to be. And the one person that let me know that was Big. Rest in peace, Biggie. When Kiss told a story that Big told him he was nice, there was
Mm-hmm.
nothing else to talk about. Big told Kiss he was nice. I focused in on Kiss, and I ain't never been disappointed. He ain't never said a whack verse yet.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's my guy. Not at
That's
all.
my guy.
Not at
That's my
all.
guy. What's the last one?
Um, the last one. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little different, a little bit. Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles?
I'm gonna have to say Stevie because I grew up on Stevie music. I didn't grow up on Ray. Ray was a very
Okay.
talented artist, very, very talented artist. You know what I'm saying? Being blind and all handicapped, but he was very talented. He played the shit out of that piano. But more importantly, when it came to Ray Charles was one of the first to figure out the music business and
Yes.
not be pimped, not be whored, and not be taken advantage of. So I definitely salute and respect Ray Charles. Rest in peace to Ray Charles. But I grew up on Stevie, you know what I'm saying? 80s. Stevie was in the house on the radio. Everybody birthday, 12 months a year. That's what you heard was Stevie. You know what I'm saying? And other than the birthday song, he had great timeless music from the 80s. So I'm going to go with Stevie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Stevie.
That's heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. And to dive back into the streets, right? Um, I gotta ask this, right? Because I'm not from NY, but I always visited NY every summer. I used to go visit NY. I used to definitely go Co-op City. I used to visit the Bronx, Co-op City. I got
BX.
cousins. Yeah, absolutely. BX. Yep, absolutely. Got a bunch of cousins in BX. Actually, one of my cousins right now, PGJ. He actually playing ball right now overseas.
Okay.
So yeah, you already know. So shout out to Jared Haynes from BX. You already know. Um, what was it like growing up, right? Growing up in Brooklyn in the '90s, and the stories that I hear was Brooklyn really that rough? Was Brooklyn one of them rough boroughs that people couldn't come to?
Brooklyn's the heart of New York City, man. Brooklyn, New York is the heartbeat of New York City. Brooklyn was so big they had to make Queens. Queens was made out of Brooklyn. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as big as Brooklyn is a very, very, very small place. Everybody know everybody in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Everybody know everybody in Brooklyn. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't know somebody, you know somebody that knows somebody. Everybody is connected in Brooklyn some way, somehow. You know what I mean? But yeah, Brooklyn's a hell of a borough, man. A hell of a borough. A lot of legendary people come out of Brooklyn, just like every other borough. But Brooklyn was one of those boroughs, man. You know what I'm saying? People tell stories about their boroughs and their hoods, right? And for the most part, those other four boroughs, they can name individuals who tried to step out and lock down their boroughs. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't no one nigga doing that in Brooklyn, babe, bro. You know what I'm saying? Perfect example. You go to Harlem, the biggest name you hear is Rich Porter. In Brooklyn, it's 10, 15, 20 Rich Porters. You feel what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Then when you go to the Bronx, you hear a legendary name. In Brooklyn, it's gonna be 20 of them niggas. You go to Queens, Preem, free Preem. Shout out to Prince. Welcome home. You talk about Prince and Preem and Southside of the Queen, the Supreme team, that one team in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's 30 teams. You understand what I'm saying? It's 30 crews that's putting it down like that. So no one man and no one crew could ever lock down Brooklyn, New York, man, because it's so many hitters out there, bro. It's so many, man. And growing up in the 80s and 90s, that crack era, man, so I witnessed so many dead bodies with white sheets on them. I grew up losing friends to gunshots. Like, yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Right. Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
era, bro. And it's like that. It wasn't just Brooklyn, but since we in Brooklyn, man, listen, man, Brooklyn was crazy. Brooklyn was crazy. Back,
Yeah.
Brooklyn keep on taking it though. Brooklyn keep on taking it.
Yeah. That's heavy. That's heavy. Oh man, the times, man.
Yeah, man. Times.
Now, considering that you wrote a book, you're a book author.
Two books.
Considering, yeah, 2 books.
Yeah. That's that Tupac work ethic. 2 books in 4 months.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy. Yeah, that's Tupac. That's Tupac in you, bro. Let's go. And when you tie all of that, right? Like you tie that into the streets, and you know, I gotta respectfully ask this question. When it comes to the podcast, right?
Right.
What inspired the podcast? Did your past experiences inspire the podcast?
Well, linking up with St. Labs, I never knew nothing about no YouTube. I wasn't no heavy social media dude. But once I got with Laz, I learned a lot more about social media, and then I learned about YouTube. Laz had to teach me all these things. And the story, I was just on the other side of a phone telling stories to Laz. Laz was doing all the and we were getting a great response around the country because lads got thousands and thousands of subscribers. We were getting a great buzz around the country. So, and then lads was actually saying to me, "These stories are good, bro. Like you really got to do something with this."
Yeah.
And I let a homie, like I said, I let a homie tell me, "Yo, what you gonna do? You gonna start your own shit?" And I didn't know anything about this. I just did it. I just did it. And I continued to tell the stories I was telling on St. Labs on my channel, and it grew from there. But making that transition and telling those stories, man, you got to be real easy because one, you don't want to incriminate yourself or anyone else. You know what I'm saying? About no street shit. You know what I mean? And two, you don't ever want to be disrespectful to anybody, whether they living or deceased. So I found myself telling my stories, being very respectful, seeking the people or their families that I was telling the stories about to get permission. I always looked for the response from the families, which were always good. I've never had a family respond to me in a negative way about any stories I've told. Every family member who's ever responded were more than satisfied. What else? Making that transition from the street to the podcast with the stories and things of that nature in the books. It was a challenge because I could tell a story about you today, then I got to tell a story about Joe Blow tomorrow, and y'all don't like each other. So you mad at me because I'm telling his story, and he mad at me because I'm telling y'all stories, but both of y'all in my phone. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Both of y'all numbers is in my phone. So that I gotta go through that. Like I told you, Brooklyn, although it's a big place, it's a very small place, man. Everybody know everybody, and every Rackus Island 80s, the streets of the 80s, and Rackus Island of the 90s. Everybody in Brooklyn got beef with each other. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I couldn't tell a story about one dude without my man saying, "Yo, fuck him." How you gonna tell a story about that? Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Then when you tell a story about two dudes who may have a beef, they acting like they still got beef again because of the story. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I accept it. You know what I'm saying? You know, we make our beds, we lay in it. You know what I'm saying? I stepped in some shit, so my feet stink. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I ain't complaining. I'm having a great time doing it. I'm enjoying myself. You know what I'm saying? My podcast has become my therapy. Okay. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? I was a traumatized kid. 3 juvenile bids, 1 city bid, and a stretch of 23 years. I came home when I was 40. When at the age of 40, I had over 27 years of institutionalism and incarceration, man. So listen, bro. After doing all that time, our mental health is a little fucked up. Everybody's mental health ain't right. And this is my therapy, man. This is what keep me grounded. This is what keep me sane. This is my therapy.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it, brother. Yeah, man. That's what these conversations are supposed to be about. It's supposed to be therapeutic.
Absolutely.
That's what podcast is for. You know, share topics, share each other ideas, connect with the people. That's what it's about.
Networking, uplifting our communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I give them a little shoot 'em up, bang bang, little entertainment at times, but for the most part, I try to tell the stories and then tell the shorties, listen to the message. Don't be so caught up in the entertainment. Listen to the message. I refuse to tell a story without delivering a message at the end. Because there's always a message in every story, bro. You just gotta catch it. You just gotta catch it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know? And most importantly, right, what would you say is your message to the younger youth right now?
Stay alive. Stay free. That's all I can say, man. Stay alive and stay free. And in order to stay alive, you can't take too many risks and chances with your life. And in order to stay free, you can't take too many risks and chances with your life. So get it together, bro. Get it together. That's all I can say to them shorties out there, man. Live and be free. I had a homie call me the other day and say, yo, bro, he been home for about a year. He did about 27. No, he did 24, came home for like a year, then went back and did another 10. Like some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the homie hit me and was like, yo, bro, I wish that, I could be more supportive. I wish I could do this. I'm still trying to find a job. I know I ain't buy a book. I'm like, yo, bro, the only thing I ask from you is stay alive and stay free. We've been through hell and back. Now, this is a person that did a lot of time with me. Me and him been in that institution since we were kids. Shout out to my boy Pete, though. You know what I'm saying? Welcome home. So I had to let him know, ain't no pressure. Just stay alive and stay free. As long as I know you're alive and I know you're free, I'm good. You understand what I'm saying? Because I want for you what I want for me, which is life, more life, and freedom. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So my message to the youth is stay alive, stay free, man.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um. Yes. Oh man, that's amazing.
I thought I would be the one lost for words, but it seemed like I got you going, man. I got you bent up. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man. Oh man, that's amazing, man. Man, that's amazing. The questions keep flowing off the top of the brain, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just keep them
Listen,
flowing.
listen. Don't put no pressure on yourself because you haven't read the book, so you got to bring me back. You got to
Absolutely,
bring me back.
absolutely, for sure.
You got to bring me
Absolutely.
back, brother. So we
Yes.
ain't got to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? If things ain't right for you right now, you all over the place, and you trying to listen, brother. I get it. I'll be back. We locked
Oh, no.
in.
Yeah, we locked in for sure.
We
So
locked in. And then I got to get some work done from you too. I need a flyer done.
I got you for
I never
sure, for
seen
sure, for
any.
sure.
Yeah, I never seen any of your flyers, so send me one to my DM. But I got to get a flyer done because people let me make the announcement right now. Two announcements. One, I will be doing a book signing in Charlotte at After Nine Sports Bar and
Yes,
Lounge. I will be doing a book signing for both of the books, World and Wise, as well as The Boys. I will be doing a book signing at After Nine Sports Bar and Lounge in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's no tentative date yet, but please know what's coming. Also, that same book tour, I'm going to take that book tour back home to Brooklyn, New York, and I'm going to do a Brooklyn section book tour. We're going to hit Brownsville. We're going to hit Bed-Stuy. We're going to hit Fort Greene. We're going to hit East New York, Crown Heights. We're going to do what we do with that World and Wise and the Boys of Rackus Island. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get it to popping. But furthermore, let me say this, right?
mhm.
I seriously am trying to get one or both of these books on the small screen. So if y'all out here and y'all got eyes on what I'm doing, man, and you know somebody that knows somebody, let's network. Let's uplift each other. Because these
Okay.
stories need to be told. These stories need to be put on the big screen, if not
Yeah,
the small screen. You understand what I'm saying? And I can't do it without y'all. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? I need y'all help with this. You know what I'm saying? I need to get these stories out there to the people, and we need to get these messages out there to the people. I just
Yes.
wanted to get that off. I just wanted to say that.
I know that's the truth. Listen, man, that's the truth. Um, what what do you love the most about black people in the culture?
What do I love most about what?
What do you love most about black people in the overall culture?
One thing I love about black people is the love ain't there no more, but I still love it. I love the love we used to have for each other in the 80s and in the 70s. Like that family shit. Thanksgiving, the whole family was at grandma's house. Christmas, the whole family was at grandma's house. All the adults drinking, partying, all the kids in one room sleep. Like That's what I love about black people. I love that.
Yes.
As far as the culture is concerned, you got various parts of the culture that I love. I love the music. I love the fashion. But there are things that I dislike. I don't like how the masses is trying to emit. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, man. I don't like how the masses is trying to change all our young men into women, and it seems like they're doing it by attacking hip hop because hip hop has the most influence on young black men. Hip hop has that influence. There's no other influence greater on young black men than hip hop, and I feel like they're using hip hop to turn all our young men into girls, man. It's sad to see. You know what I'm saying? I know we live in different times and people are exploring sexually and people are coming out and saying who they are and they're proud of who they are. I get it. But it becomes too much sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It becomes a little too much. And when that shit starts to seep into the hip hop culture like it is, it gets very scary.
Yes.
It is very scary.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because I definitely want to ask this question. Why is there so much division in our communities right now within the black community? Why is there so much division between man and woman? And how is all that division, how is that division trickling down to the children?
In my personal opinion, the division between the men and the women in the black community comes about with, one, men don't want to be responsible in relationships or marriages and be men. They don't want to be the men. They don't want to be providers. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be they don't want to take care of home. They don't want to be fathers. I believe that creates division. Then when it comes to the women, women are so caught up in being independent and I don't need a man. That creates the division. You understand what I'm saying? And then those women that feel that way when they do get into a relationship, they want to be men, and that shit is not sexy. So that creates the division, and of course that's going to trickle down and affect the youth because daddy ain't home. You know what I'm saying? Mommy got different boyfriends and shit like that. Like, of course it's going to affect the youth, but I believe the division comes about because of those reasons. Men not wanting to be men, men not wanting to be fathers, women wanting to be men, women not needing men. Like, those things create a division, bro. It definitely does. It creates a division.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know. Let me just, I ask myself this. You know, everybody, women, oh, I'm independent. I don't need no man for shit. So when you meet and you date, then y'all go 50-50 on everything? Or you pay one day, I pay another day because you're the same woman who independent and don't need a man. So if that's the case, I ain't got to break the bank when I deal with you. And I'm cool with that. But women don't not this. See, I don't get it because you want to scream I'm independent, I don't need a nigga, but you in my bank account. You drain my bank account. So I don't understand this shit. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Women need their men. And us as men, we need our women, bro. We need each other.
Yes.
We need each other. It ain't no such thing as I don't need no woman or I don't need no man. There's no such thing. We need each other, bro.
Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth, man. I seen something recently where I'm glad you saying anything. I seen something recently where a brother was responding to what a female had wanted on this first date, and he said, he responded. He was responding on a note like, you know what? How about we don't go on a date? How about we just get to know each other and talk?
Right.
He was, and she was trying to set up the 3-month rule, the 3 month without sex and all that stuff. He was like, well, how about this? How about for 3 months we sit up and talk on the phone for 3 months?
Right.
And I said, you know what? I respect it so much because you know what? We spend so much time of meeting women, right? And I'm married now, so pass, but
married man as well. I'm a married man as well.
Absolutely, man. Love my wife. So, in the past, I feel like us men, we spend so much time just like, diving in these relationships and not focusing on what's going to be the good outcome from it, or is it going to be a bad outcome, or we were just diving in these relationships without people supporting our purpose. You feel me?
Absolutely.
I feel like that's where a lot of us.
We definitely got to come back. Matter of fact, not only do you need to bring me back, it will be an honor and a privilege to have you on my platform, brother.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, brother. So let's get it done.
We really got to kill him tonight with everything because we're going to work. We're going to be working together. Like I said, yeah. I'm coming for a flyer or two. You know what I'm saying? And I wish to come back on your platform once you get done with the books. And I'm going to bring you back to my platform. I'm going to bring you to my platform so you can introduce Black Magazine 31 to my viewers. It's time to uplift each other and build. Stop destroying each other as black men.
Yes. Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth, brother.
Right.
That's the truth. And last but not least, right? Last but not least.
Okay.
What is the overall advice, right? I ask everybody this question, right? So I asked you about the youth already, but I'm gonna ask you just about your own peers, right? What advice would you have for your own peers, like right now, a brother that's just getting out of jail? What advice would you have to say to that brother to make sure that he's focused when he's getting out of prison right now?
Do I know this person or he's a stranger?
This person could be you can either know him or he could be a stranger.
Well, if I know the person, then that means he know the people I know. And I'm telling you, man, we are up out here in this free world. All of us that went through Rakashala in the 90s, man, we are free. We still maintain our relationships. Yo, what's popping uptown? We still maintain our relationships. And everybody is doing something positive. Everybody is doing something constructive. Like, everybody getting to it. So if a person I know coming home from prison, this is the perfect time to come home.
Yeah.
Because the comrades is up.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure you good. Employment, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Housing. There's too many of us home doing what we got to do. So this is the perfect time for dudes to come home from prison, from them stretches, because all the help in the world is out here. We out here networking and we taking care of each other. Now, if a dude was a stranger to me and I didn't know him, I would tell him, hold his head, get with every program parole has to offer him, and take your time, man. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be trying to keep up with the Joneses. Don't be trying to play catch up. Enjoy your freedom, walk lightly, and take it one day at a time. That's what I would tell him. And if I could help him as individually, I would help. But it's different with a stranger and the person I know. Because if I know you, you know everybody I know. You in a good position. Coming home now, perfect time to do that.
Man, that's legendary. That's legendary, brother. Heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy.
Thank you.
Where can the people find you at?
Listen, man. You already know, man. It's your boy Big Fruit, also known as the Real Big Fruit Podcast, also known as the Michael Jordan of recording. Sometimes they call me Francis MH, the most hated. You know what I'm saying? But you could catch me on Instagram at the Real Big Fruit Podcast, as well as Bailey Multimedia Group. And then you can catch me on YouTube at the Real Big Fruit Podcast, the voice of the streets. You know what I'm saying? Tap in, get with me, like, share, comment, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Spread the word. Give me some more subscribers. Give me some more viewers. And I got 2 heaters out there for you. We got World and Wise, a CNB story based on true events, as well as The Boys of C74, Racket Silent Legends. Both of those books are available at Amazon.com, as well as Barnes and Noble's bookstores. So get with your boy, man. Get with your boy. I am the real deal. I am him, and I'm all for the people. Straight jacket.
That's heavy, man. Straight jacket for the people.
Straight
Let's
jacket.
go.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, brother. And on that note, I want to say thank you for having me, and I will be back. And we're going to keep working, man. We're going to keep networking and doing what we got to do. All right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Listen, man. Thank you so much. Listen, folks. Listen, y'all go check out and go support brother Fruitquan Bailey. Legendary brother. Most importantly, y'all know Black 31 magazine. Tap in each and every week. Listen, we could have your favorite book author, your favorite artist, your favorite mental health advocate. We could have, well, listen, we could have the brother that's coming home soon that's getting out of prison, or we could have the little girl down the street with the lemonade stand, or it could be you. So listen, please tap in. We are the home of the champions, the platform of truth, and the place where we uplift man, woman, and child. Peace and love, y'all. One.
Peace.
Peace, brother.
Train your mind during these times. We need more education, not incarceration, to elevate from negativity at all costs. Knowledge and power. Remember, this game spilled, given. Embrace it. T.Y.I, Poetic G. Peace and love. One. I love it.